go. We live. Welcome everybody. I'm just checking to make sure my sound works. Here we go. And it does. This is Dorf Romantik. I wrote a little bit of program, so well, let's just dive right in. Why talk when we can dive right in? So this is Dorf Romantik. It's a game, it's not an idle game, but it's like a low pressure puzzle game. Tile placing kind of thing. And here you can see a map that I did before. I ran out of tiles on this one, but there are lots of little corners and stuff. So the idea here is quick mode. Can't undo. Try again. Can we load? Is there a way to load game? So the idea is that there are several different types of tile edge. And if you match the edges, you get points. And if you don't match the edges, you get no points. Oh, there we go. Enchanted. Oh my goodness. Oh no. So many things unlocked. So here you can see that one edge is highlighted and the other edge is not. And that means that only this edge will give you points. But if you match both edges, it gives you twice as many points. So it's like 10 points per edge. And then, let's see if I can just... It's just going to keep doing this, isn't it? If you get a tile, so like I'm going to try to match this tile in the middle here, all the edges. If you get all the edges matching, that's not going to work so well. Let's try that. There we go. And, oh, no. That's not going to work either. Maybe over here. And then the forest over here. Great. And, oh, no. This demo is going out the window already. There. Come on. No, that's not going to work either. You can do it like that, except then the river's going to block that. Come on, I need a tile with 3 field edges. Alright, so there we no, we're going to use the other one. Here we go. That one's perfect. So here we go. So now the middle tile here is going to give you, give me, you're not playing this game, it's going to give me 60 points, I think, extra. Yeah, perfect. 68 points. So you get tons of extra points if you get a perfect tile. So ideally, you would play the game in such a way that all the tiles always matched all the edges when you're placing them. And you can see here, I could pretty easily figure out which tiles match which edges just by looking at it. But when you get a bigger map, it becomes almost impossible to remember all the different tile locations and all that stuff, which is why I wrote this little piece of code. So let's look at that. So this is a little Python script that I wrote. And let's just download it and start running it. The link to this is in the stream/video description. Raw. And then we're going to save as dorfromantikhelper.py. Programming? Sure, we'll save it in programming. Why not? We're going to open that up. And we're going to... Can I run this? I don't think I can run it in Linux. Yeah, it just brings up a text editor. Whatever. We will... what? It's so weird that this is so much harder to do in Linux than in Windows. In Windows, you just double click on it, it runs. In Linux, I don't know why. It makes you do this. Python 3.10 Dorf Romantik /helper pi. There we go. Okay, so let's bring this over. Maybe over here. Bring it over here, and then I'll go over here and move my video up here. And then you can see me looking away from the text that I'm editing. It's fine. Everything's fine. This will be great. Alright, here we go. So it brings up this little thing here and it says, oh, here's your options. You can do There's fields, trees, cities, rivers, railroads, water, and station. And the main thing to remember here is that river is a V. It's not an R, because R is for railroad. And so it searches against the existing locations. So I'll just show you how you do this. So I've got this. This is going to be a problem. No, it's not too bad. So I've got all these different tile locations. So the first thing I do is enter in the tile locations I already have. So we're going to start off. We've got this one, and it doesn't matter which way you go as long as it's consistent. I use clockwise, but it could be counterclockwise, just as long as you use the same notation, because otherwise you're going to get, you can't flip the tiles, you can't mirror them, so the order matters. So I do clockwise. So like for this one, it would be, let's see, that's a field, which in this one, or not a field, grassland. So that's G for grassland, and then T for tree, and then C for city. And so that's the code for this location. It's got 3 edges: grassland, tree, city. And oops, because I made a mistake. So I want to make a new location, so I start with N, and then I do grassland, tree, city. And then you can put a little description here. So this is like over by the river city, so that you can recall which one it is that you're. When you bring it up and search later, it's like I've got this huge map. Where's this spot? Well, it's over by the river city. There we go. Awesome. Oh, is this an old version? Well then. Let's just fix that. Edge key. Field. Grassland. Field, tree, city, river, railroad, water, station. River, tree. Because I forgot to add grassland. Well, it's a good thing I'm doing this. I must have done this on another. Yeah, I did this on another computer. I haven't uploaded it to the GitHub, I guess. But it's good to find these things out. All right, so I got to update that. That's the edge key, grassland. Then I have to update this with a G. That's the edge character. And then down here, I have to change all the F to G because field doesn't actually match with these. Only grassland matches with these. And then I think that's it. Edge key, edge characters. X and Q. Oh yeah, and I did a thing where, well, I'll upload the better version at some other time, but I made a thing where you can save and load and stuff your file here, but this will do for now. So let's save this and then rerun this, and now we should be able to say new grassland tree city over by the river city. There we go. GTC recorded. So now if I search for all, item 0 is GTC over by the river city. So that tells me that I've got, so A is just a keyword or a key character that matches against every tile. So it'll bring up all your things, and it only shows 9 or 10 locations. Just because I didn't want to have to do like scrolling and selection and stuff. So if it's not in the top 10 list, you can't select it. That's how it goes. And I've never had that be a problem. So I added that location. So I'm just going to add, usually I only add locations that have 3 or more matching spots because you don't want to like enter in all these ones with 2 edges. 2 edges is pretty easy to match. So, but like this one here, this one right here, let's do this one. So that's new. Oh, I'm gonna have to remember that my thing is covering up on the side here. New grassland, tree, field. What is that? The forest watchtower. Next to the forest watchtower. go. And then this one, again, clockwise, new city, grassland, field, field. And what is that? By the starting grassland, I guess. You can be a little bit vague, obviously, because it shows you which spot it's selecting from, so don't have to worry about it too much. So let's get this one. So new grassland, field, tree, by the deer. And then this corner here, this corner here, that's a really good one. That's got 5 edges. Grassland, grassland, city, grassland, grassland. Between the starting grassland and the river. And of course, you don't have to enter these notes. You can make it as sparse as you want. It doesn't test against the notes at all, and there's no way to search against the notes. So the notes are just there so that you can remember where the spot is on the map, because I didn't want to implement any kind of like whole map searching feature or whatever. So now that we've got all this entered in, we've got 5 whole locations, but you know, it's a small map. Now we can start entering in the tile that we have and see if it matches any of the locations perfectly. And if it doesn't, we'll just put it on the edge somewhere where it fits and where it seems like it makes sense. But if it does, then we can use that location. We'll show you what happens next. So this is a grassland, water, water, tree, city, city. Now, one of the things I did is the last, if you don't enter 6 characters, if you enter less than 6 characters, we'll get to the next one here. Let's just do this. We'll fill it all out. And hey, look at that. 0 grassland, tree, city over by the river city. So it says it'll match this one perfectly. And in fact, it does. So let's put it there. Perfect. Boop. So now we've done a couple things that we need to, if we want our database to remain valid. It doesn't look at the game at all. All it does is just take inputs in text. So it's not looking at the map. It doesn't know that we place this. So we're going to say D for delete. Oh, so question mark for the commands. Oh, it doesn't show them. That's in the other version. Anyway, D is delete. So delete, and you're selecting from the list of options by number. So delete 0, but 0 is the default. So I think just D will work. Yeah, GTC deleted. So now if we'd say all, GTC isn't in that list anymore because we deleted it. But we have a new spot. It's over by the forest. It's tree, tree, water. So we can make a new one. Tree, tree, water. And this one is, by the forest. Sure. Tree, tree, water. So then we just keep on going like that. So here we've got one that's all city. And this is what I want to show you. One of the nice features is you can just hit C and it fills in all the other spots. 6 C's. So it just assumes that it fills in whatever the last character you entered is. So if it was like a tree and then a bunch of city, you just say TC and it'll fill it in with the rest of the city spots. So you don't have to type C 5 times. So that's kind of convenient. It doesn't show any spots, so we're gonna have to place this one ourselves. Luckily, we've got a nice spot right here. Let's see. We've got a pumpkin in it. There. And then again, we can add a spot here. So now this has got city, city, city. That's pretty easy. New city, city, city. We don't even need a description. It's gonna be in the city. It's fine. Now we've got one that is grassland, grassland, city, grassland, tree, field. And I could do city, grassland, tree, field, grassland, and not enter the last grassland, but it's not worth the hassle. No spots, that's fine. We'll just put this somewhere. Maybe see, it's almost right, but it's not right. Maybe here? Nope, doesn't fit. I guess. Oh, nope. wrong-sidedness. No, we're gonna have to get desperate here. There we go. So now we just created 2 new spots. Oh no, we created 1 new spot and this one's modified. Oh, so now we can show the modification. So let's bring this over. All right, so we've created a new spot, new field, tree, grassland, and this is by the forest. And then we also have a spot that is tree, water, but we've added a field to it. So instead of creating a whole new one and typing in the description again, we can search for tree, water, and it says, oh, 0, tree, water by the forest. And we say, cool, we're going to modify that, modify 0, and it's going to be field, tree, water. Now, in the latest version of this, it also modifies the text. I don't know if I've... oh. Field, tree, water, space. It shouldn't use space. Why does it use space? Oh no, it's a 0 length. I should fix that too. I should fix the 0 length matching. Oh well. We'll just enter a new one. In the version that the latest version that I have on my other computer, the modification will work on just you can just enter the tile edge string, or you can just enter a description and it'll just leave whichever other one you haven't modified. So you can just modify the tile thing with the new edge, and it won't modify the description. So the description stays the same, so you don't have to type it in again. That was what I want to show off, but it didn't work because I'm using the old version. So go figure. Let's see. By the forest pond. That'll be fine. And then we want to delete number 7 because that doesn't actually exist. All right, good. Now we've got, oh, this is a nice one. Field, and a bunch of trees. No spots. So we know it can't be here because we just entered this, and sure enough, that edge doesn't match. But it could be over here. Let's try that. And then we can search for the field, tree, grassland, and we're gonna modify number 1 to be tree, field, tree, grassland, by forest. Okay, and now I think, yeah, this is a pretty good spot. I don't think we're gonna have a better spot than this. So let's do that. Maybe like that. And now this spot has changed. It was grassland, tree, field. Yep, modify 0, grassland, tree, field. Let's see if that keeps the... No, it doesn't keep the description. It will though. I'll fix it. I've already fixed it. It'll be okay. I do need to fix that 0 length matching thing though. Let's see. Modify 1 to be grassland, tree, field. By windmill. 2 L's in windmill? No one's watching this stream. Can't ask chat. Okay. Grassland, city, tree, city. Spots, that's fine because we've got a nice one over here. That'd be a good spot for it. Tree, grassland. Nothing, so let's see, what do we need more, trees or grassland? We can do over here. It's kind of nice. Tree, oh no. grassland, tree, city, field. Nothing. Okay. And now we're going to have a real hard time matching that one, but that's okay. So we're going to say grassland, grassland, tree, field, modify 0, field, 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 by windmill. I think it does have 2 L's. And you get the idea. So now we're going to put the city. Oh, now we've got the city. Oh, we'll let it tell us if we can put it there. If this is a bigger map, I wouldn't remember. Tree, city, city, city. Put it in the city, city, city. Okay. Delete that. We got it. Put the trees over there, maybe? I feel like we have a better likelihood of getting trees next to a river than a city next to a river. And that's a good spot. Sure. So yeah, you get the idea. That's how that works. And then when you're done, you can say X or Q to exit, and it'll save it. And when it does that, it brings up Dorf Romantik helper.txt. And in here, it's just a printout of the dictionary that it stores all this in. City, grassland, forest, forest, by the starting grassland, GFT by the deer, etc., etc., etc. So it's just a dictionary. It's just stored in a dictionary. And because it's storing in a dictionary, if you ever try to make a duplicate entry, it will overwrite the old one. So you have to be a little careful about that. One of the ways you can get around that is by using the A key. Well, I'm not in the thing right now, but anyway, you can use A for any. So I didn't demo. Well, I should probably demo that. Let's see. Oh, so it reloads it, and you can see the stuff it's reloaded. So that's good. Yeah, let's just show off a space. Let's see, do we have one that's got a good space in it? I guess here. So for this one, this edge is grassland. This edge is open, so it's any, which would be A, and then this one's tree. So to enter this spot, whoop, no, there. We'd say new grassland, any tree. And so that way you can jump gaps, and it'll just match against against any tile. And that's by the deer. There we go. And yeah, that's how this whole thing works. So that's modify, delete, new, and then in the actual one that I'm going to upload soon is also save and load. But it's really straightforward. Just S to save and L to load. You can't enter a file name. If you want to modify the file name, you got to go into the text itself and change the save file location. This is right there. And you can rename your save files so that you can have multiple of them, although Dorf Romantik doesn't allow you to save multiple maps, with ongoing maps, so it doesn't really matter. But yeah, so this is one way to get the, the achievement that for getting a whole bunch of tiles all in a row, perfectly matching edges. That's basically why I made this, is so that I could get that achievement, and then it's like, oh, it's actually really handy for playing the game. Makes it take a bit longer, obviously, but I don't know, it's kind of nice. It's like a little accounting aspect to the game. It makes you kind of really pay attention to what the tile edges are instead of just kind of vaguely placing tiles all over and kind of saying, well, it's fine, it almost matches most of the way, because those plus 60 bonus tiles really do make a huge difference. Anyway, that was it. This didn't end up being an hour, not even a half hour of gaming, but I guess I'll have to take it off of that list. Not that anyone uses playlists anymore. Does anyone use playlists anymore? I don't think they do. Anyway. That is that. And, yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed it. I would say, are there any questions, but no one's watching, so you can leave questions in the comments below. Thanks for watching, everybody. Have a good evening. Oh, no, you know what? I'm going to go through how this thing works, because I'm doing this stream. Here. There it is. All right, let's just bring this up here. Right, like that. There. So now you can see me and you can see the code. So, Dorf Romantik spot finder thing. It's all in Python. I've got a little thing up here to remind me how this all works. It's missing the G for grassland, but I don't want to spend too much time modifying this. I know I've got a better version on the other computer. So, edge characters. This is just a list of all the characters that it recognizes as valid tile edge characters. Edge key. This is just a help file. So this is actual functional code. This is just instructional. Edge key and instructions. This is just instructional text. So that comes up when you... Oh, so if you type anything else, like bongo juice, it assumes that you don't know what you're doing and brings up the help text. So that's another kind of nice... I like to do that when I've got text entry stuff. If you do something it doesn't recognize, it's just like, well, here's the instructions on how to use this thing. So there's a save file location. Okay, is valid edges. This is really straightforward. It's got an edge string, a string of characters that you are telling it are some edges, and it just checks every character. If it's not in edge characters, this string right here, then it returns false. And then if it gets out of the loop and checks all the characters and none of them are not matches for valid edges, it returns true. And you notice this is all uppercase because when I enter this stuff in, I make it upper. So that's just nice for, you don't have to check against upper and lowercase stuff. It makes it a lot easier. So then edge key, edge instructions, good. Okay, it's valid edges. So that's the definition there. Then I open the save file. This is also fixed. I've got a save function in the new version, but it's just opens the thing, reads it in, and it evaluates the read in. So it reads the whole file and evaluates it, and then assigns that to all spots. And because when we save it down here, we write string version of that, then when you evaluate it, you get back the Python object, which is great. And it also means that it's readable when you're printing it out as a string. It's readable, human readable, so you can actually go in there and modify the save file. And I've done it a few times, especially in development when I made a mistake or I forget that V means river instead of R, meaning railroad. And so I entered a bunch of tiles with R and I was like, oh no, that should have been V. So you just save it, go over to the save file, edit all the mistakes you made, and then save that text file back, and then reopen the program, and the program reads it in, and everything's great. So anyway, that's what it does. It evaluates the loading thing. If there's any problem, like you deleted the save file, just makes it a blank. So it says all spots is an empty dictionary. Compat edge. So this is the game-specific code where for C1, C2, so this is just comparing two edge characters. So the edge character on the tile that you have, and the edge character on the tile that you're looking for. Whatever, right? Two edge characters, are they compatible with each other in Dorf Romantik? So if they're equal to each other, then they're compatible. Like edges are always compatible with each other. Then, if they're both A, if either one are A, then you return true. So A matches any edge, right? If one is the A, it doesn't matter what the other one is, it'll always match. If the other is A, it doesn't matter what the first one is. And then there's got to be a smart way to do this, but I don't know what it is. So I just did it the stupid way, which is if C1 is water and C2 is grassland or river, then return true. And then if C2, so I just did the same thing for C1 and C2. I know there's got to be a smart way to do it, but I couldn't be bothered to look it up. So whatever. So C1 and C2, it just does the same exact thing. So this is checking water against grassland and river. And then finally, it checks station against water, grassland, river, and railroad. And same thing for C1 and for C2. And again, didn't look up how to do that properly. And then it returns false. So if any of these match up, true, the edges match. Otherwise, they don't match. So again, really straightforward. Not impressive at all, but it's fun. Edge matches. So this one checks, so this is compatible edge. This just checks one character against the other character. Edges match checks a whole string of edges against each other. And it only checks one with one loop. Well, I mean, it's got two loops, but it only checks against one loop. So if you you always want to have string 1, st1, be the shorter string. And in this case, the location strings are always shorter because you're not storing the full 6 characters for each location. You could store 2 or 1 even if you wanted to. Or 3 usually is what I use, 3 and more, 3, 4, and 5, and 6. So what it does is it checks the length, and then for the index in the range length, it sets the index to the starting index. So this is the starting index. I is this equals the starting index to start with. And then for character in st1, the first string, so it takes a whole string and just C is the character in the string. If the edge is compatible, you increment and then wrap, basically. And then if it's not compatible, you break out of the loop. So checks each one against each other. And compatible against string 2 of I. So if it is compatible, you index to the next I, and then you go to the next one and check the next C against the next I. So this way, you don't have to do any fancy wrapping or anything. The wrapping occurs here, and the index increment, it just increments and then wraps. And then you don't have to check which one is longer or whatever. In fact, I should probably add some code in here to just make, ensure that the string 1 is always longer than string 2. Like, if string 2 is longer, then you just reverse assign them, but whatever. It doesn't get used outside of the code, so it doesn't matter if it's not robust. Otherwise break, and then else, so this is an else for the for. So if for each character you get through this loop and you don't break, then you return true because we exhausted the loop. And then if when you go through every location, every index in string 2 length, so that's the longer string, so you check that whole thing, you clock it around for each location, right? You take the whole thing and you clock it for each one. And if for each location you don't find a match, you haven't returned true yet, so you return false instead. So again, pretty straightforward, but that's how that all works. It's kind of a nice solution. And yeah, there's probably some computer science, like super short one-line code for this. And I'd be happy to know what it is, but I couldn't be bothered to figure out how to phrase what it is I'm looking for and look it up. And it runs perfectly fine. I mean, there's no way you could enter the data fast enough that it would bog it down, so it's fine. So that's the definition for edges match. Then it prints some instructions. I'm doing initialization stuff like here, and then some more definitions, and then more. And that's not proper code, but it doesn't matter. So we print out the instructions, and then we set the found spots to just all the spots. So basically, we initialize it with all the spots. So that's when I open this up with a brand new, where I ran it for the first time again. When I ran it again and had some save data, it brought up all of these spots because it initializes it with all the characters. When you first run it, it just does an all search basically. And then while true, so this is the loop that it just keeps looping through. This is a control loop here. So found spots.sort reverse true key lambda x length of x. That just sorts it so that the spots with the most number of constraints show up first. And I figured that's what you wanted, because you wanted to match the spots that have the most edges all the way around them. You don't want to match the edges, like little tiny spots on the edge if you got like an island that you need to fill. So if you can fill an island, great. It matches against the most number of matches. And then it truncates it to 10. So found spots equals found spots from the beginning to 10. And that just makes sure that you don't go off the bottom of the page with all the spots. And I've never needed more than, I think, 3 spots or maybe 4 for matching. It's just 10 is plenty, so that's plenty. And then for I in K, or IK and enumerate found spots, print IK all spots of K. And so that's what does this. It prints the index, it prints the value, which is the key. So these are stored in the keys of the dictionary, of the all spots dictionary, and then the description is stored in the value of the all spots dictionary. So it just prints out the value as well. And that's what gives you that. And then we've got an input. So it prints it out if you've got a found spots, and there's some things that blank the found spots, which is why it doesn't print it out all the time. It is printing it out, but it's just, there's nothing in it, so nothing prints. And so then it prints out now choose, and then it takes the input that you type in, strips it. If it's equal to 0, then it prints the instructions, and then continues. So it just loops back to the beginning. So print the instructions and loop back to the beginning of the control loop again. If it's not 0, then it does a bunch of processing. So it splits it out, and that gets basically separates it by spaces and white space and tabs and all that kind of thing. And then the first line is split of 0, and it makes it uppercase, like I said before. And then if it's greater than 1, then I join in, or line of split line. Oh yeah, line of split line. So or split in, SPL in. If the split input is greater than 1, then it joins all the rest of them back together. So from 1 to the end, and that's basically the description that you entered in. Otherwise, so if it's longer than 1, then it joins into the description that you entered. If it's not longer than 1, then the last input is just an empty string. And then if first n is a question mark, then you print the edge key, and that's what happens over here. If you do question mark, does the edge key. And in the good version that I will upload, I promise, when you press question mark, it also prints the list of like the short description of all your options. So n, capital N new, capital D delete, capital S save, capital L load, those kind of things. So if it's question mark, then you print the edge key. Else, so if it's anything else, then first in of 0, if first in of 0 equals D, so that's delete, and then this is the delete code. And then here's the new code, here's the modify code, and I'll go over that, but I'm just going to do all the control stuff first. Is valid edges. So if it's not new, modify, or delete, then it is going to be a string that is, it's going to check to see if it's a valid list of string parameters, of edge parameters. And so it does that. And then else, if it's X or Q, then you save and close, which is just basically save the file, print out the string of the allspots dictionary, close it, and break. Else, if it's any other input, print the instructions like I demonstrated. So let's go through each of these in detail here. For delete, so if the length of the first line equals 1, so that means you only typed D, you didn't type D0, or D5 or D7 or whatever, then the first input plus equals 0. So basically just add on a 0 to the end of the input. I could have run the 0 code or whatever and entered the number 0, but I didn't. I just entered the string 0 as if you had entered 0. It works. And then you try to find the index. So this whole try thing is just so that it doesn't crash the program if you try to delete item 7 over here, right? There's only 5 items and you try to delete item 7. Oh, you can't see the input. Well, that's fine. You don't need to see the input. It's over here. So if you try to delete the wrong thing, it just says that didn't work for some reason. And it's basically because you entered the wrong number. So try index equals int, so it turns whatever the second character of the first input is into an integer, and that'll fail if you type a number or a letter or something. And then it finds a sequence, which is the found spot of the index. That's the thing that'll fail if you have the wrong indexes out of bounds error, and it'll raise an exception. And that'll get caught in this except loop, or except frame, whatever. Then you delete the key with the all spots sequence in it, and you delete it out of found spots too, so that the found list gets truncated as well. And then say sequence deleted. Straightforward. For new, basically the same thing, except that it checks to make sure that if it's longer than 7, it's okay, it'll still enter it, but it prints this little warning that says, please use caution, this is really long. You're playing like hyperbolic Dorf Romantik or something. All the hexagons have more than 6 edges. Then you've got key first input from 1 to the end. So this is the input of the actual string, like the edge string that you entered. It just takes off the N that you put at the beginning that triggered this thing so that it knows that it's a new one. Then if it's valid edges, so it checks the valid edges, that's the thing we did before. If all those items in the key are valid, then add the key to the dictionary with the description as the value and blank out found spots because you don't want to have the same search running when you create a new one because you're creating a new one, and so you're obviously not searching for anything, you're creating something new. And then it just prints out a little thing, new location recorded. Else, it's not a valid location. So if it's not valid, if the key it doesn't have all valid characters in it, then it'll say not a valid location. And then modify, this gets complicated and even more complicated when I have this stuff working properly. But it's basically the same thing. It checks the first input, it goes to find spots and finds a sequence, it gets the key out of that. If the key isn't valid, then we don't use it because we know that we're not going to enter any invalid keys because we always check the keys here for validity before we enter them in the dictionary. So we can do an early rejection there to just say, hey, this isn't a valid key, we're not going to search the dictionary for it, it's not going to show up. Then we delete all spots sequence, and then we create a new one with that same key, and then we found spots is 0. Yeah, create a new one. So basically you just delete the old one and create a new one. And then it says this one's changed to that one. And if it doesn't work, like you entered a wrong number for the modification thing, that says that didn't work for some reason. So that's that. And then else is valid edges. So this is the one where it actually searches against the list. So that's the delete, new, and modify. Then if it falls through, it's like, well, okay, it's not deleting, modifying, or it must be searching. So now we're searching for something. So if the input is all valid edges, then it keeps going. Else, if it isn't all valid edges, then it just falls through the next option. It assumes, probably if the input isn't X or Q, or like you could hit like X cape or something, and that would work. But anyway, so if it's all valid edges, then the LFI, that's the length of the first input is the length of the first input. And then if it's greater than 6, then truncate it off down to 6. And if it's less than 6, then you take the last item of the input and you multiply it by 6 minus the length of the first input. And that fills in those last characters, how I showed you. You can press C and it does C 6 times. And then it does found spots, I for I in all spots if edges match I and first input. So that is the way that it finds it in find spots. It just does an edge comp or a list comprehension and searches through the whole list and checks to see if there are any there that match, where the edges match the input that you gave it. And that's basically it. That's the whole thing. That's how the whole thing works. So there you go. You didn't ask for that, but I gave it to you anyway. What are we at now? It's 43 minutes. We're still not at an hour of games. Okay, well, and I'm not even really playing. Oh, good. All right, well, thanks for watching again, everybody. Let's see. Do my little screen here. I guess I could play a little bit more. There we go. All right. This is Tree Grassland, GAT by the deer. Grassland. Oh, yeah, tree. There we go. Put it in and it matched it. And then, let's see, that was Grassland, City, Grassland. Modify 0. City. Grassland. By deer. It's fine. This is just all grasslands. No spots. No matches. Alright. That'll match all right. Kind of a different looking grassland. City and grassland. Actually kind of an odd one. So we do this. No, we do this. Here we go. All grasslands again. Maybe there. And then we should probably record that. Tree, grassland, field, tree. Grassland, field, tree. Oh, I guess I didn't update that. Grassland, we want to delete one because we just placed one there. And then modify 0 to be grassland, tree, grassland, field, tree, by deer. There we go. Ooh, grassland, river. Well, I haven't entered any. That's okay. Yeah, it's not gonna match anything. Almost. Almost. So I'll have to do that. And then we should probably record that one. New tree, river, grassland, river. By the river Y. And do we have this one? Tree, river, grassland. No. TVG. River by city. Okay. City, tree, grassland. Nothing. Do we have that recorded? I don't think we do. Let's see, tree, grass, tree. New. By city. Tendril. By city tendril. Perfect. Okay. Tree, grass, tree, grass. Huh. There we go. Fill it right in. Perfect. And delete that. And that's a bunch of rivers and stuff. Oh, so close. Doesn't match. So sad. I guess we gotta go over here. City. Tree. Yeah. Nope, doesn't match. We could match it here though. And then grassland, city, tree. Oh, we don't have that. Or clock. Yeah, clockwise. All right. New grassland, city, tree. By town pond. There. And grassland, field, grassland, city, field. No matches. Almost, but not quite. Not quite. Yes. Oh. Grassland, field, grassland, tree, grassland, field. No matches. No. I don't think I've entered that one, though. Tree. By windmill. Sure. We'll make that one impossible. Oh! Almost perfect. Almost perfect. But that is perfect. There we go. All right, so I think that one's going to be impossible to match. Was it river, any river, tree, river, grassland, river, tree, river, by the river Y. Yeah, modify 0. Grassland, tree, river, grassland, river, by the Y. Close, but no. Grassland, grassland, and field. Yeah, doesn't show any matches. Tree, city. Should do. Go. No matches. City, grassland, city, grassland. Okay. No spots for it. That'd be a good spot. Tree, water. River by the city. Ah. Good. Filled that spot. Tree, city, river. Tree, city, river. Nothing. It's symmetrical. City somewhere. Doesn't look like it. That's actually not bad. Not bad. Here we go. First railroad. Let's see. Field. Railroad. Grassland. Field. Railroad. No matches. Tree, city, field, grassland, city, forest. Tree, grassland, tree. There. There we go. Another perfect. Oh, good. That's a good spot for it. Tree, river. City, 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 river. No dice. That's not bad. Tree, city, tree. Do we have tree, tree, city, tree, city? Hey, there we go. By the deer. Ah, perfect. Yes! That is why you have this program. That is why, exactly. Oh, good. I'd forgotten about that. Grassland. Tree. Good. Okay. That's pretty good. So here would be a place where you'd use A. So let's do that. This is new city, city, any city. What the straight? I should probably record this one over here too. New forest, river, any, grassland, city, river, straight. Grassland, trees, city, forest. Ah, good. Wait. Tree, grassland, tree. Tree, grassland, tree. Did I delete that one already? Fill that one. TGT. I don't see any TGT here. I think I must have filled that one already. Not being very disciplined about this, am I? For a demo, this is not a very disciplined demo. I think that's one's been filled. That'll work though. River, river, tree, tree, field, city. Sure. Well, I'm not using the tool very well, but you get the idea. One of the things is that the modification not working like I want it to is very discouraging because I don't want to have to keep typing in descriptions all the time. Oh, all right, we've been going over an hour. I think that'll do it. I'm going to go back in the house, dig out the code that actually works, fix that thing where I can enter a 0-length string for a tile key, and then upload it to GitHub. And the latest version should be up by the time this all finishes processing or whatever. Shouldn't be long. Anyway. Thanks again for hanging out, for Dorf Romantik scripting and streaming and programming and stuff. And I hope someone finds this useful other than me. Although, even if not, I think it was worth it. It's a fun tool to build and, yeah. Lets you build a bunch of cool stuff. So, anyway, thanks.